Hi guys, Kim here. Welcome to Backyard Blooms. In today's video, we're going to plant some echinacea, which is another term as coneflower, and some sedum from Monrovia that's called Autumn Charm Sedum. Both of these plants take full sun, and I'm going to plant it in the side garden here, which gets more morning sun, but this corner right here gets more sun than down on this side of the house. So this Monrovia Autumn Charm Sedum gets about 15 feet tall, and I'll show you. So that has some rose blooms that are going to come out later on, late in the summer here. And I thought that would pair well with these coneflowers here that also have a pink rose tone to it as well. This coneflower is called Double Bubblegum Coneflower, echinacea, attracts butterflies. There's the label there. This plant gets 30 feet. So since this sedum gets 15 feet tall and this gets 30, I'm going to plant more of this sedum up towards the front of the garden and these coneflowers towards the back. So they take full sun, as I said. The coneflower says it's deer resistant. Not sure about this sedum, but I haven't heard anybody talk about deer eating sedum. So we're going to get to planting. So today I have my Biotone. Every time I plant a shrub, tree, or any kind of perennial, I use this Biotone. This is not really a fertilizer. This just helps the roots grow in. Promotes bigger blooms and roots for planting flowers, trees, shrubs, and vegetables. Love this. This is from Espoma product. And this is also from Espoma, but this is my organic Land and Sea Compost. Love this stuff. And I found out about this from Laura from GARDNER. And Jenny from Creekside also has this product, so luckily I was able to buy this product from her. It is hard to find, so if you can't find that, Ace Hardware seems to have Land and Sea. Jenny from Creekside, which is in Dallas, North Carolina, if you live close to Charlotte, she has this product, and you can also order that on Amazon. So this is the coneflower here that we're going to plant. This is the Double Bubblegum. Love this flower. It's got a hint of yellow and orange hues in there. And here's the variegated sedum. And these are the blooms there that have not popped out yet, but when they do, they're going to be a rose color. So here's that combination right here. So different texture here, different colors of varieties. Okay, so I have my gloves on. I have my plants all in the area that I want to plant right here. So I suggest whenever you buy some plants and you have a combination that you want, to kind of lay them out in the area that you want before you start planting to make sure you like it. You can change it up. You can do it 2 or 3 times. Just make sure that this is how you like it. So anyways, I put my sedum up front. I do have this one towards the back and my coneflowers here. And I have all in like a grouping that are close together, but these plants don't get too tall. So about 15 feet tall. These get 15, these get 30, so these will overtower these when they get a little bit more established. So I have my container here, so I'm just going to try to loosen this container up so I can get my flower out here and just pull it out. Get this back so you guys can see. And I have my pop-up bag here so I can put all my trash in there. So I'm just going to move out the mulch. Actually, move my mulch out with this. I've already planted in this area one time. I planted some dahlias, and of course I think it got too wet here and they already like root rotted. So note to self, don't plant dahlias where it kind of stays wet because it won't work out good for you. I just wasted my money. So after I get my mulch completely out of the way, I have my auger. And you guys, if this is any kind of garden hack, this is it. This is like the #1 garden hack for me. It's not an expensive drill, but this auger is from Power Planter, and it's not a very big one, but you can plant real easy some annuals that are just like in a grande container or just small annuals. This works great. So for me today, since I have a little bit bigger plant to plant, I'll just make 2 or 3 holes and make it one big hole, and then I'll kind of swish it around. So here we go. So after I drill my hole, I don't want to replace a lot of the compost with the soil that I have. So I'm going to not take any of that soil out, and I'm just going to throw a handful of this Land and Sea Compost in there. And then I'm going to throw some Biotone in here, in the hole. Nope, measure it out. Just maybe a cup, probably, if you're not used to, not know how much, you don't want to put the whole bag on there. And then once I get my Biotone in there and my compost, I just kind of mix this up a little bit with my auger. I mixed it up with my auger. And with the same pot that I just took out, sorry that air conditioner just kicked on. I hope you guys can still hear me. And just take some of the dirt out of the hole and put it in this container. Take my plant. And I want this root ball maybe about an inch right above my ground level. I don't want to submerge it all the way down into the ground. And then just fill the dirt back up around it. And you want to push down kind of hard with either your hands or your feet to make sure there's no air pockets in there. So what I do is just kind of stomp on it with my foot around the plant. All the way around just to get the air out. And then the dirt that I had filled up in my pot, I just put back around the plant as well. And you can see there's a little bit of my dahlia left right there. And then you just cover it back up with your mulch. Okay, the same here. Move the mulch out of the way. If you have drip, make sure you don't use this power planter on your drip, but I definitely know I don't have drip in this area right here. It's a little bit further back. I'm just using my auger right here. I'm just making the hole wide enough by just swishing it around like I'm mixing a cake up. Alright, and then I'm going to throw a couple handfuls of my Land and Sea Compost in there. A little bit of my Biotone. And just mix this up like I'm making a cake. Like so. Alright, so then I'm gonna kind of squeeze this container some. I can pull my plant out right here, like so. And this is not too root bound, so I'm not going to do anything with that. Take some of my soil out. There's some of my bulbs from the spring. Place my plant in there and just cover the dirt back up with it. Make sure your plant's straight up and down before you get all the dirt back in there. You don't want to stand back and you're like, oh, the plant's all crooked. And then with my foot, I'm just going to gently tap all the way around without stepping on the foliage there to get all the air pockets out. And I'm going to add some of this dirt back to it. And then bring my mulch right back up against it there. Here's another seed on. So I think I actually want to bring that one a little bit closer up to the surface here, closer to the sidewalk this time. And kind of have like this going at an angle here. I'm just moving the mulch away. And a power planter here, auger. I'm going to bring this hole a little closer to the sidewalk. planting here in the south and you have red clay, you cannot take all the soil, your original clay soil, out and replace it with like some kind of regular gardening soil. Like, I would not want to remove all this soil here and replace it with nothing but Land and Sea or some kind of Miracle Grow or anything like that. When you do that with red clay, you're going to create a water bath in your hole right here. So there'll be too much water that will stand in this hole because it's not able to drain, and you're just going to kill your plant with root rot. So take it from me, never really was told that from anybody because I never like planted in this location before when I started this garden 3 years ago. And you hear people doing that all the time, but that is a very bad mistake. So here's my sedum here. I'm going to take out some of this soil here and put it in this container, and I'm going to use all this again because I'm going to put my root ball about 2 inches above the soil here. So you can tell, like, here's the soil line right here and here's my root ball, so about 1 inch above that soil line right there. And then all the soil that I just moved away with my auger, I'm going to move that back and tamp it down. And then with my foot, I'm just going to lightly go all the way around the plant here and get all the air pockets out, like so. You don't want any of the roots to have any air pockets in it as well, because then your plant can die from that as well. And then this is the soil that I removed from the hole a while ago. So when I put that Land and Sea, it's just a little bit, a handful, just a little bit to give it some nutrients and just turn some of the soil over, since it is not very good clay, not a very good soil, I mean. So anyways, that's what I've done for all my plants, and it's worked out well for me. If I have enough Land and Sea, I like to take some of this and put it around the base. But I don't really have that much right now, and I need it to plant all my other plants. So then you just take this mulch that you had and bring it back around the plant, like so. And then I can come back after I plant these and give it some different kind of like plant tone, rose tone. Since they're flowering, I can use rose tone, I could use plant tone to get a little bit of fertilization also. Or you can use some of the Proven Winners water soluble fertilizer as well. So I'm back here, and I'm just gonna remove the mulch out of the way. So I'm really close to my drip here, so I want to make sure that I don't og that drip, because if you do, you'll just be piecing it back together. It doesn't mean that you have to replace the whole drip, but you will have to cut the part that you just cut and piece it together. All right, I have my auger. Guys, this auger is a lifesaver for me. Like, I honestly am telling you guys that. So this is not expensive. This is like a $20 auger, and this is a drill that I already had. Yes, I would love to have that whole big combination, a drill from Power Planter with the DeWalt drill, but I don't have that. But this works well for me. So much bigger, so much better than digging it up with a shovel or a little handheld shovel. I mean, normally I would be doing this, right? I'd be like planting like this, which is harder, especially if you have hard clay. Sometimes in the summertime when this hard clay is not very wet, it's like cement. All right, so I'm gonna take this plant tag out. I always keep my plant tags and keep them in a location, at least one of them. That way I know what I've got. I have a box that I just throw all my tags in. So at least keep one of your tags. Pull it out of the container here. Not very root bound, just at the very end, but this is not root bound. So I'm gonna take some of my dirt out of the hole and put it in here. And I'm going to take my plant and put it in there. If this root is really dry, make sure you water them before you plant them, because if you put a really dry, and I probably should have watered these actually before I put them in the ground, but if you put a really dry plant in the ground, and it always stays dry, so it's never a really good combination for that plant to get a good takeoff. I'm actually going to stop and get my container and just give them a good water. Alright, so I'm actually went and got some water here because this root ball is a little bit dry, and like I said, I don't want to give it a bad start right off the bat. So I'm just going to kind of soak this root ball here with some water. And give this some water as well since I've already planted it. And this one. I'm gonna go ahead and water these too. And this one. So I did put some water soluble plant food in here. I have some options here. I also have some of the Proven Winners slow plant release fertilizer as well. That's what that looks like. So I can sprinkle this around the plants too. It's slow release, it's not going to hurt the plant. You can also put some of that in the hole as well. So after I got this root ball nice and wet, so I can give it a good start, I'm going to cover that up with the dirt that I just pulled up out of that hole and give it a gentle tap all the way around. Make sure there's no air pockets. And this is the soil that I pulled out of that hole. If this was a little drier, it would break up a little bit better, but it's kind of wet already too. Like I said, this area stays a little bit wet for me, so I'm probably not even going to have to give this additional water because it just stays wet here. I notice I'm looking a little droopy, and I can always adjust my water conditions here, but there is drip back there, so it drains this way. Just gonna put a little bit of that compost around the base there. can sprinkle some plant food around it. I also have some rose tone if you don't have the plant tone. But if you do not have any of the continuous release, you can also use this Espoma flower tone. You can use rose tone, use any kind of tones. But it's very similar as what we put in for the Espoma Biotone. It is organic and it smells organic as well. All right, so once I got all the dirt, the original dirt, pulled back in there. This is what my hard clay looks like, just like concrete. You can tell I can't even hardly break it there. It won't even crumble. That's what we have to deal with here in the South. All right, now I'm pulling my mulch back up against it there. I always put a good 2 to 3 inches of layers of mulch down every year. That helps suppress my weeds, so I don't really battle with weeds that much. If I see one here and there, I just pull it up with my hands. I don't try to use any kind of anything to kill them, because it's just easier for me just to pull it up and not see it for a week until it dies. Okay, so then I'm just going to pull mulch away from this area here. I have my drip line right there. So this is what things are looking like so far. I have that sedum right there in the front. The coneflower, already planted that one. Still have these 2 to go and one more sedum. And you can see this is where I'm going to make my hole, and there is my drip. This is just a line that goes from A to B. It doesn't have any drip hose in it because, like I said, I had to already pull out a boxwood in it. I'm trying to show you guys a little closer up here. This is the auger. I'm just gonna put the bacon, take fire, just go around, make a hole. Oh. Some Biotone. Mix that up. I'm just pulling the dirt back around it here. And then I'm going to take my original dirt, put it back. I don't want any of these roots showing. And just FYI, it's easier to work from the back to the front. Something I should have done today. Sprinkle some plant food around it. I'll go ahead and put a little bit of the flower tone around it as well. And then put the mulch back over it. So this is what we just planted here. I got 3 of the sedum and 4 of the coneflowers. Love this variegated look, so I'm excited about that in my garden with these coneflowers, and I can't wait to show you guys what it's going to look like when these sedum come out with those rose blooms against these coneflower buds right here. You can see there's just a little bit of yellow orangey tint in there. I love that too. This is going to give me a great pop of color in this garden. And I had to pull a boxwood up right there, and I need to go get me another boxwood. And I showed you guys in a video how to identify a dying plant and how to check with the scratch test. So I need to get me another boxwood there. I can't wait to see this in a couple of days when it lives up just a little bit after being planted. Okay, we're back here near my cottage garden. The back of the house to the right, and I want more yellow in this garden. So I thought this yellow big pop of color will do well for this time of year. In these planters, I'm going to try to incorporate more yellow next year. But I've got 5, so I'm going to try to bring them towards the front here, even though I don't have a lot of room. But I'm going to stuff them in. Sorry if you guys hear or mowing next to me. I hope you don't hear that too much. Anyways, I'm going to set the camera up and we're going to figure out together how we're going to plant these echinacea. They look like close up. And this one is called Sombrero Poco Yellow, full sun. And let's see if I could see how big these get. I wanted to put these in the front of the garden because they didn't get too tall. This one gets 14 to 16 inches tall. This one gets 14 to 16 inches tall, so I need to put this towards the front of the garden or I'll never see it. There we go again, Sombrero Poco Yellow. It blooms in the summer. So when things are starting to look a little tired here in August, this is something that's in my garden that I'm going to get some color from. And as I told you guys before, I bought this thinking this was a double bubblegum, and this is why you can't always rely on plant tags because they do get mixed up somehow. Either someone else mixed it up or the grower mixed it up, but this is definitely a different color than my bubblegum, you can tell. So I have another one of this color in the back of the cottage garden, so I'm going to plant that one next to it. about my placement. I've got one there, one here. I like this placement. I want to be able to see them with this pop of color. So I know that this one's hanging a little bit, but I'll trim that one back a little bit. And as these are in bloom, these Nepeta, Hi guys, Kim here. It's the next day and we have all these echinaceas planted / coneflowers. I plant everything the same way with my Biotone, and I use my Land and Sea, and I always have my auger. It makes things so much easier. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do. Comment below I subscribed, and I would love to say thank you.